Hello everyone. For today's video, we're going to go over the camera kit I used on January 6, 2021 at the Capitol Building in Washington, D.C. You heard me right. I was at the Capitol Building on January 6th, and I did manage to get some pretty amazing photos that day. I went into the building twice. All the photos I have, not everything was shared, but what I did share is still circulating the internet. So with a little bit of effort, you guys can find the work I put out there that day. In the month of August of that same year, I did receive a call from the FBI and was told to self-surrender. So I made the decision to take my case to trial and fight it. Unfortunately, I lost on all counts, and I went to prison for just over 13 months on a 4-year bid. Luckily for me, though, in January of 2025 this year, my charges were dropped and my case was dismissed entirely. And I no longer have a conviction on my record. But I still went to prison. So I can't change the past. No one can. And prison was a learning experience in and of itself. And I'm just happy to be out. And I'm happy to be taking pictures and video again and sharing it with the world, because that's what I love to do the most. So in a moment, I'm going to go grab my camera bag and we're going to go over the gear together. So if you have any questions about my kit or what happened on January 6th, feel free to drop a comment down below and I'll do my best to get to all of you. Let's go over the gear together now. Okay, so we're going to start off here with the camera bag, and this is the bag I was using on January 6th in Washington, D.C. And it's a Billingham Hadley Pro Small. I have nothing but great things to say about Billingham, and specifically this era of Billingham with the leather everything, the leather underside grip on the handle, the ones that still have the handle. I think this was the best era of Billingham. I never had anything rip, tear, break, anything. This thing has held up really well over the years, and it has never failed me. The leather on this is patina. It has a really nice patina on it. Again, nothing but great things to say about Billingham. I would definitely get another one. I do have another one, but slightly smaller, and I don't really use it at the moment. And I don't really use this currently, just because my travels, I just stick everything in a pack. So let's get it open right now and look over what I have in here. My camera kit from January 6th. All right, everyone. So here's the kit I was using that day. I did have, I think, 1 to 2 additional lenses that day, but so much was happening that day that I just kept this on the camera body and didn't change it at all. That's pretty much it. The only other camera I was using was my iPhone X for video mostly, but this is what I was using for all the stills. And I'm going to start off here with the flash. This is my Godox V1 for Nikon. Godox makes amazing stuff, man. I'm not making this a review video for anything, but the stuff I use, a lot of my gear ends up looking roughed up after some time, and to me that's whatever. You know, I guess you could say it gives it some character, but I just like having gear that's gonna go through stuff with me and not crap out and not break, and you know, God forbid if I drop something, it's just going to keep on working. And this flash just works, man. It doesn't stop working. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I've dropped this many times in many different conditions. And it just, aside from it making that loud noise, I mean, it still works. And it still puts out super powerful light. This thing will light up a room, and for street, amazing too. But the stuff I use for street and my own personal photography is a little different now, a little bit more refined. This flash, and I have a second V1. I use that for my gigs, just because they put out more flash and the battery in this stuff lasts a good while. So this is strictly just for my gigs and my commercial work. But yeah, it's a Godox V1. Here is the X Pro N transmitter. This is an interesting little thing on here. When the FBI raided my house in the month of August in 2021, this is some of the gear that they took from me. Well, I wasn't even home when that happened, but they took a bunch of my stuff and a bunch of my photo gear, and this was one of the pieces they took. And I didn't get to see this camera and this, and I think a few other things until my trial date. And you can see right here it says defendant's exhibit. So this was evidence that my defense and I used in court to prove that, you know, I am a photographer, I'm a working photographer. I was credentialed at the time. For some reason that they said I wasn't, but I had credentials that are issued through the San Diego Police Department, but they decided to not tell that part. But I don't think I'm ever going to use this again. I haven't used it since. I have some, again, other stuff that I've upgraded to, but stuff like this is just interesting to look back on. Remembering January 6th, remembering going to trial. Again, great piece of equipment. This thing, batteries on this thing lasted forever. Never failed me once. And here's my lens. Let me take the filter off this thing. We don't need it for this. My Nikkor 25 to 50 millimeter f4 lens. And man, this lens is one of the best pieces of equipment I have ever used. Just, you know, for work, for my personal projects. This lens was just, it was it, man. This thing made me money, a lot of money. This thing made my photos just pop like no other lens. It's vintage. It's all metal. All of this is metal minus the focus ring, but still clicky on the aperture ring. Focus ring is still super smooth. No electronics, no motor on it. I'm telling you, man, this like stuff like this, if you guys can still find it and are interested in vintage glass, especially for Nikon guys or people wanting to get into Nikon and are still using f-mount, AIS and AI lenses from Nikon are very underrated. Some of the stuff is really expensive and everyone knows about it, but stuff like this, like the 25 to 50 f4, man, it's just, I don't want to say the word perfect because that's not a word I like to use, but man, this thing is just, it just does what it was designed to do, and it just does it so well that I have no complaints whatsoever. One of the best pieces of equipment I've ever owned. This particular era of the 25 to 50, interesting fact is, I think it's the coating that they put on there. You can look it up on some forums, but I think it's the coating that's radioactive. So there is a radioactive thing they put on the glass, and I'm pretty sure many of you people know that radioactive anything is not good for you, and it just lasts forever. So I think once people caught on to that, Nikon discontinued that and made a second version of this without the radioactive coating on it. So I don't want to say that I'm lucky to own it. You know, I don't want to get sick or anything, but I've never gotten sick or anything like that. I think the radioactive, whatever is on here is so minimal that it won't affect anyone. But yeah, I own one of these things. Again, amazing lens, no complaints. corner to corner on the wide end at 25, little to no distortion, which is amazing, and sharp from corner to corner. Wide lenses are hard to get sharp on the corners. It's mostly just a center thing, but this thing is all around, man, sharp. It's pretty heavy, but I would say this is like a 9 out of 10, maybe 9.5 out of 10. This lens is that good, and I think it's that good. You can still get these relatively inexpensive. If any of you are still using F-mount, so maybe it's worth looking into before prices on these start to skyrocket, because I know that happens with the internet nowadays. But yeah, that's the 25 to 50 f4 Nikon. And now, here we are with the camera body. My D600. This was my first pro level, prosumer, whatever one you call it, camera. And do I have anything? I don't think there's a battery or anything. I think my batteries are all dead, so I would have turned it on if I had a charged battery. Dual SD. Super good to have. I know that now they're doing one SD slot, one micro SD slot, and some people don't like that. It's whatever to me. As long as I have another slot to put in a backup, that's all I need. But I always had 2 SDs in this thing. Super tough camera, man. I know I keep saying the word super a lot, but I'm just being honest. This camera has just, it works, man. It just works and works and works, and I never really got it serviced. I think the only time I had it serviced was when it was Nikon doing like a little recall, because I guess the oil in the camera was getting onto the sensor. So you could send your camera to Nikon for free and they would clean it or replace the sensor if it was that bad. That's the only thing I really ever did to get it serviced in any way, and after that, nothing. At the time, this was a good camera for video. It was only 1080. 1080 I know is like low resolution now, but here's my mic, headphone inputs, HDMI, the USB. I used to own a couple of the little GPS modules, but I just never really used them after I lost both of them because they're really small and you would have to put them in through here, and then there was like this extra thing just hanging off the side of the camera, and the risk was always there of it like snapping off, and it just wasn't really worth it. But man, this camera was incredible, man. 25 megapixels, I think. My newer camera that I got last year, also 25 megapixel. For stills, you don't really need much more than that, man. I know people are doing 50 megapixels and up, but for what I do, 25 is more than plenty. I always lost the eye cup. I replaced the eye cup on this maybe a couple times, and I just, for some reason, always ended up popping off or getting broken. I taped this off because I had this, so I didn't need this popping open. I was one of those guys that would always cover up anything that would show. Tape on this fell off on that. But I think then everyone knew that once they saw this red line, everyone knew it was a Nikon. All right, everyone. So that was the camera kit I used on January 6th. As you can see, it's a pretty minimal setup. It's my Nikon D600 and my AIS 25 to 50 millimeter Nikkor lens with the manual focus ring on it and off-camera flash. Man, that Nikon and I have been through quite a lot, even before January 6th and after January 6th. That thing is a workhorse, and it never failed me. It just kept on chugging and chugging, and I never even got it serviced. The camera's so good, I bought a second one just as a backup in case something happened to one of them. And I just since upgraded to a mirrorless system. And every once in a while, I'll bring that camera out and just look at it and reminisce about all the adventures I've had with it, because that camera and I have been through quite a lot. As you can see, what I use is nothing special really. And to this day, even with my mirrorless setup, it's more or less the same thing. Just the camera, wide lens, and off-camera flash. I bring my street photography techniques and feel and aesthetic to my photojournalism, because I feel they go hand in hand. I feel like I'm doing street photography when I'm doing photojournalism, whether it's inside a convention with a bunch of politicians and conservative influencers, or even if I'm literally out on the street of San Diego or LA or Orange County doing street photography. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and maybe in the future I'll do another kit breakdown and show you guys what I'm working with. But I just felt that was something interesting to share with you all, the kit I used that day. And thank you all again for watching this video. And once more, if you have any comments or questions, drop them down below and I'll be sure to answer all of you guys. Thank you once again, and I'll make another video as soon as I can to share with you all. Bye.